Welcome to the Wexford Football League show. Tonight I'm joined by David Dodd. We're going to look back at the results from the weekend and look forward to some big games this weekend. Welcome, Doddser. How are you? Great to have you back in.
I'm grand, Aidan, and it's great to be back.
Have you been doing much? I asked you earlier on, were you at a game, but you told me you were at a game, but not a Wexford League game.
No, I was at the Liverpool-Man City game at the weekend. So unfortunately I didn't get to see too much around Wexford at the weekend, but enjoyable weekend.
What's the difference in the standard between Wexford and the Premier League?
Just a bit. Better atmosphere some of the Wexford games though, as there is in that Man City stadium.
So you're out of management now. We're 3 months into the season. What do you think of the league so far?
It's becoming predictable as the weeks go by, but that always kind of happens as the cream usually comes to the top. But still, there's a little bit to be played for. It's a big weekend coming in now with mine playing North End. Big weekend coming in, I think, for mine and North End, really. There's a big competition starting to rise down near the bottom of the table where there's a few games in hand with Wexford Bows and they have to try and win those games in hand, and it's a few teams that you'd expect to be up near the top are still floating around in the middle table points. So by Christmas, someone will have to get to the top or the bottom, and it'll be next few weeks will be very interesting, I'd say.
Yeah. And I'm finding the app a great asset to the league. I have to say, when you're at a game, you can find out a lot of other games. How do you find it yourself?
It was great for me last week. I was away and I was able to follow the Bows game on Saturday afternoon in Manchester, and I was in Dublin then on Sunday morning, and my young lad was up there playing a game, and I was able to follow the games up there. The one criticism I would have the app is there's an awful lot of people texting me from home able to follow the games, and it was one thing that riled me when I was a manager, that lads would be texting you during the game, how are you getting on? Come down and watch the game. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, you go to some of the GAA games, Junior B Championship, it's a local derby in the town, you get 500 or 600 at it. Now you have lads telling you, I was watching the game at home on the app. Do you know what I mean? So that's...
Yeah, I see where you come from. I have to say, I was surprised that I was at the Mine-Gore game of the weekend. I was actually surprised at the crowd. That game was a big crowd at that. I know it was a big game, but I think on all the whole promotion of the league is after coming on big time though, in fairness, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And like, look at shows like this and the app, and like, keeping people's interest in soccer can only be good as you go along, because we do have other sports, and rugby is becoming a popular sport as well, and we don't want soccer to stand still. We want to keep it moving forward and get people to games. And
that's what we're out here kind of trying to keep new stuff. And I just say we've loads of people have seen through the show tonight. We've loads of goals, so keep the goals coming into us.
I think a few fixture changes, as in an odd game on a Saturday afternoon or an odd game on a Sunday afternoon, might help to keep people going to games as well.
Yeah, I think the marquee games, if we get the two clubs degree, is probably the biggest thing, rather than Pádraig, to change them to maybe they're not clashing with anything else, that people can go watch them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we'll move straight on to the results. The FAI Junior Cup, I think we'll start with the 𝘰𝘯𝘓 away to Knocknagarra. We won't say much about it. 𝘰𝘯𝘓 were probably the club of the season in Wexford at the moment, but this was that was going to be tough on going up to Galway, but I was unfortunate for them to run a side of a heavy defeat. Yeah,
it's a long journey, and like I know they have some decent players and they're down in Division 2 in Wexford, but you come up along there and you go to Galway, and it's a tough journey to get up there and get the boys off a bus and play a match. And look at it, unfortunately, you don't know what it likes to lose 9-1, but look at, I'd say the boys weren't expecting too much going up there either. Do you know what I mean? So
the Galway League is strong at first.
Yeah,
and then
it is.
Your old club, or well, still your club, but the team managed losing out unfortunately on penalties to Tala. The outside competitions have been a blessing for Nicky so far, so I'll be disappointed with this one.
We're doing well in it, and I was at the game before this round against Bunclody, and the boys played really well. They were behind twice in the game. They came back and won it. Again, in the game, they showed great fight in it. They would even have let in a couple of bad goals, set pieces, but I done a bit of homework on for the boys up in Tala, and we were expecting big things out of Tala, because one of the lads was telling me that like they're the new up and coming old county kind of Oliver Bond kind of a side. They're only 5 years old, and they're getting a lot of players with a lot of experience in around the place. So we were expecting big things from them. So it was a good performance by the boys to get that far, and unfortunately we just lost out on penalties.
Yeah, and then North End losing out as well, 0-0 to Letterkenny, who travelled over down from Donegal on penalties. You might be able to tell me, I can't remember the last time I remember North End losing a penalty shootout. I might have lost one actually to yourselves, is it?
Jeez, that was a few years ago too. Yeah, that was in the Cup semi-final 2018. But yeah, North End tended, when I seen it going to penalties, you kind of just
back them straight away.
Yeah, you kind of just know they're going to win. But it is strange that Northend didn't score in the game because they just tend to always get one over the line. And they got one late in the round before that up in Laois. I can't think of who was against them. It was up in Laois. And again, they got there and they won that round on penalties. It wasn't Collision. It was Cretillard, sorry.
Cretillard, yeah.
And again, I kept sort of waiting for the goal to go in from Northend in this. And look, they went out on penalties. They'll be disappointed. They went out in a similar round last year. I think it was actually the same round to 𝘥𝘁 from Galway as well. And both home games as well. So they'll be disappointed.
Yeah, how do you think it'll affect Denny and the squad? Because they're probably maybe want themselves and Gorey, who probably would pinpoint these competitions something they want to go win. That's not just something they're just entering to see how far they can go. They actually, at the start of the year, put down want to win these competitions. Yeah,
well, they do just set out to win these competitions, don't they? Like, they set out to win, go as far as they can in this. And like Leinster Junior, they've won it twice in the last couple of years, and they've won this back in 2018. So they do set out to be one of the favourites and to be one of the in the latter stages of this competition. And affecting the dressing room, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, that dressing room was a lot onto itself at times. It depends. It'll show in the next couple of weeks whether Denny has a proper handle on that dressing room now as it goes, because there's a lot of leaders in that dressing room, as I say. Look, they've the right game to bounce back on this week into the league, and they're still in the Leinster Junior Cup, so there's still a lot to play for in the in the season. But like, they have to bounce back this week, which is a test. And I've heard there's a few injuries around the place, but I also heard there's a few signings coming into the place. So it's the carnival that is Northend that keeps on rocking, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, and we have some footage of that game now, and thanks to Letterkenny for that. And the other outside competition this weekend was the Junior Shield. We had my own club losing out to 𝘠𝘰𝘄𝑚 3-2. 𝘠𝘰𝘄𝑚 actually hadn't won the last couple of weeks, so except Nicky been saying the last couple of weeks they needed to bounce back. So this was a good win for them. In fairness, I think they were always in control of the game. And then Fastnet Rovers, a lot of all Wexford ties, unfortunately, and this was disappointing to see in a way that going to get rid of maybe 5 teams straight away from the county. Fastnet 2-0 win again, Cortown Hibs. Duncannon, who are in Division 3, lose now to Bringy, who are having a great season in 3A. Jack Harney again on the score sheet there for them. Shelburne lose now to Enniscorthy Town, who in fairness to Andrew O'Brien now, I think that's their 3 games now undefeated, winning 4-0. The great club in the history of Wexford soccer, and the Doddser, it was great to see him coming back, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's when I was playing up along, they were always a Premier Division side, and they were very rarely out of the Premier Division, and it was sort of sad to see him going back down. But great little history up there in Pierce Road, and it'd be great to see him get back up into the into the top divisions and get a couple of teams going in it, because even the last couple of years now, where their first team hasn't been going so well, they've always had a B team or a C team or something coming along the lines there. They've always had plenty of numbers in the club as well. So
yeah, and then we had Shamrock Rovers, I think, who played this on a Saturday with a 3-0 win against the FC Donaghmede. And then we have coverage of the Rosslare Strand, who lost out, unfortunately, 4-1 to Darndale. I think you'd kind of expect that, wouldn't you? In fairness, even though it was a good old spin down for Darndale, but you'd expect them to win that one.
It would be. I don't think Rosslare Strand are going too well, even last season and this season again. They're kind of, their older players are starting to peter out a little bit, and I don't think there's very much coming through on the youth side of things. But look at some of the Dublin sides come down here, and they're down for the day out, but they're bringing a lot of quality with them, even down into the Leinster Junior Seals, and you'll see some of these names towards the latter stages of that competition again. So yeah,
just before we move off there on the Wexford teams there, I think all those teams are fancy their chances, I'd say, going the whole way in this competition, in fairness.
Yeah, well, especially Fastnet there. Fastnet are going well in the league. They're top of their table, and they signed in a few players. Like they have Graham Healy left us to go there. So there's a Premier Division player who Wexford Cup medals and stuff like that. And even before us, he was with Kilmore at that level. So he brings a lot of experience. He's playing up front for him, and he's a good player that way. Then the Vandy Kennedy in from Fort Celtic. He was Fort Celtic's left back last year. He's a good player. Jack Murphy, who played with us for a couple of years, they're in there. So there's a good bit of experience and a good bit of quality in and around there for their division, They're
probably the best equipped Wexford team to win it, I'd say.
Probably would be, and they fancy themselves to go a long way there,
And then we have the footage of the Rosslare Darndale game.
Thanks.
Come on, man.
Get in. All right, Mark. All right. Keep working. Come on.
There we go.
Foot, yes. On it, Toy!
Come on!
Go on, stand back.
Come on.
All right, lucky. Quick.
Have on.
Oh! Hit it! Shoot! That ball, referee! Oh! Take down the lads. No. Shoot! Oh! I'm running down in the air. What's fucking better, son? Well on. What's loose? Oh!
Now we'll jump straight into the O'Neill's Premier Division. Campbell 2-2 draw with Ajax. It was the bottom of the table clash. I think one of them really needed to win it, didn't it? Doddser, in fairness to Ajax, now to 4 points, so they need to get a win soon.
It was the kind of result you'd have one eye on as a Wexford Bows supporter. You'd be kind of saying, don't let too many teams.
Bows are not coming down there, no stop.
No, but when you have to get the points on the board for that. So you're watching this game, you're kind of waiting to see what their teams are like, what they're going. There was a few red cards at the end of that as well.
Yeah.
But look at Ajax have 4 points on the board with 4 draws, so they're making themselves hard to beat. But it's not enough. You have to get over the line and get a few 3-pointers on the line there. Campoil, similar enough. They got a result up in Ferns a couple of weeks ago. Another result there against the Ajax. But again, these teams have to go along and start getting 3 points on the board, or you will be. You come February time and your Wexford Cup is out, and then you're into the real dogfight.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the Ajax players. They will fight to the end. They're probably lacking that bit of quality maybe to jump up the table, so it will be a struggle for them. A big game from this weekend. We'll get to it later. I suppose the biggest game of the Premier at the weekend was the Mine and Gorey. It was a 1-0 win to Gorey. It was a game I was at. The first half, the Mine probably slightly shaded. Probably even, but then Mine slightly shaded. Actually, Gorey got the goal. Again, they run a play near the end of the half, and then second half, in fairness to them, they control the game. They kind of played it at their pace. So the boys will be a little bit disappointed with their second half performance. I suppose the best way you could say about the second half, Pat Isle was the busiest of two keepers. Now Gorey were catching the boys on the counter as the boys were trying to push on, but never looked like Gorey were in too much trouble in the second half, I have to say. Now the first half was probably when the boys should have. I think when you're playing Gorey in these big games, I think you have to take the lead again.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you have to get them chasing the game, and like it's like a 1-0 to the Arsenal kind of result. That's the way the big teams in Wexford have gone for the last couple of years, and it's 1-0. They get in control, and you're just chasing their tails. Then, and they can make substitutions. They can raise the pace of the game. They can stop the pace of the game. They can do what they want really, and they're dangerous at set pieces. So you're always on the back foot. You're watching everything that's once you go 1-0 down to them. You know. So.
Yeah, look at the great backline affairs, but I think Gorey's biggest strength, and I think nearly everybody that knows anything about soccer, actually, you could nearly pick Gorey's. You could pick Gorey's 11 nearly every week. They're probably the most settled team in the county over the last 2 or 3 years, in fairness to them, which is a big help.
It
and
is.
to have the squad, like, I think with about 10 minutes in the second half, they brought on Sean Murphy and Stephen Maloney for Stephen Clintz and Ryan Cullen. Like, so you could argue they definitely weren't weak in their team. Were they strengthening it, or was it just the same? As, I think they've probably 14, 15 players there at the same level. Like,
yeah, and again, they lost a couple of weeks ago to Freebooters. Not the Freebooters, sorry, Baldoyle.
That was a big,
and it was a bit of a kick to them because they got to the final of that competition last year. So sometimes the defeats are good to a group like a Gorey, because it'll galvanise them. Like they're in the Leinster Senior this week, but that's a big win for them now, because like they had started the season with 2 draws, and everyone was kind of writing them off, saying they were leggy, they were this, they were that. And look at the bounce back. They've beaten North End down in North End. They've beaten Mine up there now, which is the top 3 in the league at the moment. So look at, they fought their way back into it. They have the outside competition still to look after, and look at, they're going to be tough to beat again this season. As simple as that. They're going to narrow it down to a 2-point or a 2-team championship fairly soon, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's looking like that. In fairness, when they did look impressive, though, I have to say. And myself and Nicky were probably questioning her last week when they surprisingly lost to Baldoyle, had they lost their hunger, but I didn't see that now on Sunday. I have to say they were right at it and played for the full 90 minutes. And I think the key to beating them, you have to score first on them, I think. And then the last game of that was a 7-goal thriller. Bunclody 4-3 winners against Shamrocks. I think Shamrocks were very disappointed with this. Ken, they have been flying there. They looked like they were going to fly back up the table, 3-1 up in this, and then lose out 4-3.
Yeah. It was a bit of a shock to me now to see the results, especially when I had checked up the table and they were winning early in the game, and Bunclody didn't show too much to me the day that they played the Bows. They were scored 2 goals from set pieces, and they were a little bit natty around the place when they argue, and I just thought to myself, no, they're not up to hold home. But look, this result now could push them on a bit. But it's a tough place to go. You see, mine went up there the week before. They scored a goal at a nice time in the first half. Scored another one second goal in the nice time in the second half. And that's that's what the big teams will do. But look at that kind of result. That's a dig out 3 points for Bunclody now, and it kind of stabilises them up to 3 wins, 3 draws. I think or 3 wins, 3 losses from 6 games, which is decent enough start for a team just looking to get 20 points and get safe before you worry about anything else.
Yeah, and they needed that, because as you say, if they had lost that, like, they would have been really down there in the bottom half of the table, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would, yeah.
Bottom end of it. I think Shamrocks would be disappointed, because it looked like they were going to get up, maybe challenge the top boys there for a bit of a run. But
I'd say on the back of beating Bows after being behind twice in the game, I'd say go to Bunclody. I'd say when to see the fixtures coming out and we're going to Bunclody next week, it will be a battle, but we're fancying ourselves to go up there and get 3 points again. But that's the kind of season as a mid-table team. That's the kind of results that put you back on your heels fairly rapidly.
I think, I know we're saying they're a young side, but there's some experienced players there as well. I think they'll be disappointed that they lost the 3-1 lead.
They will. will. That's never a good sign in the dressing room. And it's, look at nobody likes it. You're up. Like I had the same feeling the 2 weeks before that. I was getting texts from my game, and Bows were 1-0 up, and then Bows were 2-1 up, and you just don't expect to lose from 2-1 up.
Yeah. Move on into the 4-star pizza Division 1, which is turned out to be an exciting division. We've Core Ramblers, who are now look like they've all the GA players back and are flying at Bridge Rovers, who were the early pace setters in this division, but have looked like they've fallen off now. And Gorey Rangers, who are seem to be the team to beat in it, 3-1 win against Clebon. Rosslare Rangers losing out 3-2 to Shelbourne. In fairness, Shelbourne seem like they've had to get in their act back together in this division. A few wins on the last couple of weeks, and then the big game in this league was Ross Celtic 2-2 with All Blacks, and then we get the Glenbarntown North End game in a minute because we have a bit of footage on it. Anything surprised you in that division there?
Glenbarntown beating North End 4-1 is a bit of a surprise to me, because I was actually, my young lad plays at Barntown. I was down a train the other night and I see huge numbers up in the corner, and I knew it was the men's team, but there were huge numbers, and I noticed a couple of the young lads who had gone off to the League of Ireland in training when there was a young Dara Sherlock and Oisin McDonough was in, and there was a very good young squad in and around the training session, and I was thinking to myself, Jesus, if they could get these in and around and give to some of the GEA players a bit of experience in how to play the soccer properly, there'll be a force. And
yeah, we have the footage here now. Do you think they have the capabilities of getting up into the Premier, Barntown?
I don't think so. I think they'll be thereabouts, but I don't think so, because again, if the GEA lads come in, and that's where a lot of their loyalties lie, and I think that could catch them.
And surprised that you've been in Wexford Town, man. Surprised that North End, like you've always been in. I think they've won this 3 times this division, haven't they? And they've been always up there.
I'm very surprised that I went into the app just to see what the teams were about it, and I looked at the North End team, but on paper you'd say this North End will win this game. Do you know what I mean? There've some very good soccer players on that team, but I don't know what's happening with that team. But I think North End are second bottom in that division at the minute.
Yeah, they are struggling. I suppose maybe Denny, we were saying they're not having a few injuries. I think Denny does have a big squad. Maybe that's not helping Mick either, is it?
No, it wouldn't help him, but there's not that many.
There's a
goal.
Great goal or a goalkeeper. What do you think? Think he meant it?
I don't think he did.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
We'll see.
Of course, it was down on the CBS pitch. You think that they'll come against Glenbarntown over the years not having their own home ground to play on, or you think they're happy enough out there?
Well, you see, this is their second season using this as their home pitch, and they train there as well, and it's a big advantage to you.
Yeah, as you said, they're training and playing all the games. So when they're playing anyone at home, they will have that advantage of the AstroTurf, won't they?
Well, they will, and they're all GEA orientated lads, and they're fit and they're fast, and that surface is the one for fit and fast players, isn't it? There's no mucky pitch slowing down the bad lads and that. Yeah.
I think that's why the result maybe surprised me, because North End would be a football inside.
It would.
I thought the pitch would have suited them. I think I was surprised at this, because Glenbarntown are kind of 50-50 in this division, aren't they? They're mid-table kind of. They're not in danger of going down, but don't look like they can.
No, well, they have strung a couple of results together now, so maybe they've got a few lads back in there now. But look, you don't expect North End's B team to go down to Barntown and lose that way. But look, it's one of those days, and the result speaks for itself, and the table doesn't lie in for Mick either. And it's for a team that was winning leagues up there, there's something certainly not right in the camp up there.
Yeah, look, it's great to have the footage. In fairness, Justin, he sends it into us there from the VO. It's great to have that. We encourage everyone, as we go through the show, you'll see more goals and more footage. So if anyone have it, just send it in and we will use it. But as a manager, Doddser, it's great to have that footage too, isn't it? We had a look back, and when you're telling a player, sometimes when you're telling a player, sometimes when you're telling a player they made a mistake, you're going back to your member Sunday and they're kind of looking at you going, what's he on about? Well, at least now if you have the footage, you can pinpoint what you're on about, and I think it's massive. I think for coaches,
it's huge. Like I was away last year for the Evergreen game, and I was able to get the footage off Gary Marr, sent it down to me, and we were able to watch the game back, and I was able to go to the boys and say, look, we asked for a fast start, and look how fast you started. We were 2-1 down after 6 minutes, do you know? And everything is pinpointed in it, and you just, there's no hiding when it's on the screen, is there?
No, I said it's just going to be, a lot of clubs seem to have the VO now, so it's a great thing to have. They are expensive, but as I said, I think it'll be massive for the coaching of clubs, and I think it will improve soccer in the county because it'll help the coaching.
Oh, like extremely help everything. Like even down to the under 12s, under 13s county sides now. Every game I go to, all the way up along, it's at all them. They're getting feedback at all them sessions that they do. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's not into a player to be on camera these days. It's not like years ago, where you'd see yourself on camera maybe once a year. They're on it nearly every week now. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, it gives us an opportunity to promote the game then as well when we have all this footage.
Look at it.
Some of the good strikes there for Barntown and fairness to them. They have you know a lot more about them than me, you know more players. It is a decent side, isn't it? Robert Dempsey and Ian Crosby, like they're all good players. Won all Ireland's with.
There's some very good players out there. What tends to catch you, man, again last year, 2 years ago, we had a very tough game against them in, I think it was the Wexford Cup, or was it one of the outside competitions we got. Now last year we played them with some very good players.
Not a good goal there.
They dwindled away in the game, and I think we beat them 5-1 or something at the end. But like again, I was watching them there the other night now, and there's a lot of very young, fit lads in that are well capable of playing soccer. Do you know what I mean? Well capable. Yeah,
and you know, because you would have been over a team that's reliant on GA players, and I was the same. They're probably don't have enough just soccer players, do they? Like you would have your core in Wexford Boys, we'd have our core in mine, but they probably don't have enough just soccer players, really, do they, to compete at the top.
There's a very good core of young lads out there now at the moment, young Sean Cooney and all out there. Now, a big thing will depend for the likes of Barntown and a lot of other clubs around the county on how this GEA is going to be set out, whether it's
they're on about changing the
2 weeks on, 2 weeks out. Because if that happens, then you have your Barntown hurling manager and your Barntown football manager in their ears come the first week in January about getting back training for championship, which brings your championship up to April, then a break for the county teams, and then your championship is not over till next September.
And we're back to where it was, kind of, yeah.
Madness. Absolute madness if it happens.
Yeah, look,
and very unfortunate for young players because they're getting tore out left, right and centre, you know.
It's a discussion for another night, but maybe it's something as a league we might have to look at counteracting to it and changing our league to make sure we have the best product available. I suppose the standout result for me, that was Ross Celtic All Blacks 2-2. Two of them would have knew each other big time from last year in battling the whole way up in Division 2. In fairness to them, they've flied up straight into Division 1. Two of them look like they'll be challenging for the title and getting promoted in this month.
They do, and look, we all know the history of Ross Celtic, and it's a fabulous history, and they do want to get back up in the Premier. But to me, what's happening down in All Blacks is phenomenal. They've come up 3 divisions in a row, and here they are pushing up towards the top sides of the Division 1 as well, and pushing the likes of Ross Celtic along the lines. And you know, for a team that gave a walkover earlier on in the season, which was much highlighted on the show, it's a great achievement down there with a reasonably small bunch of players. You know, as regards, you know, some of the bigger clubs that have 20, 30 to their bill. I wouldn't say the All Blacks have that amount of first team players down there, but they're pulling together and to keep plugging along and getting the division and getting the promotion up along. And our lads fought with them there, but the B team for a couple of seasons, and our lads are in Division 2 now, and here they are up around the top of Division 1. It's really good by the club, in fairness to them.
Yeah, because look, to have a goal scorer and saying Castley, that's the big thing, as you know.
Yeah, it's huge.
Core Ramler and fairness came down last year. Looked like they were going to struggle at the start of the year in this, but now John looks like he's got everyone back and gotten them. Maybe he's getting his message across now to the players what exactly he wants from them on a great run. Good 3-0 win again with Rovers, who are flying.
Yeah, and Cork Ramblers are very hit and miss. They can be very, very decent side on their day, and they can be very, you know, average side on their day as well. But look, they're always the kind of side that in Division 1 they're going to be very, very top side. You know what I mean? It's like they might have a couple of bad weeks, but they'll come back and have a couple of good weeks then as well. They're always thereabouts at the end. And look at your Rosslare Rangers back in that. It's a pity really that Rosslare Rangers fell the way that they fell last season. It's not very nice for a club to have that record in. But look, they're holding their own. I was watching them the other day. They have 11 points in the league. They're going all right. They're up around the mid-table.
Yeah, and Gory Rangers B team will be trying to do their part for the club to do a Premier in Division 1 double, won't they?
Oh, they will. Sure, look at.
And we move on into the ABEX Division 2. Your own club here again, Wexford Boys, 2-1 win again, Curraclaw. Surprised that Curraclaw struggling in it in Division. I thought they'd have been looking to get back into Division 1.
Again, they're
fabulous facilities in a club down
fabulous, there. Absolutely fabulous facilities. Underachieving for the facilities they have out there, but then they're battling against GEA so heavy out there, and the 𝘔𝘠𝘮𝘮𝘯 are so successful at the moment in the football and the hurling. They're battling against that all the time to get a decent youth side to come up along, and they're expecting them to turn into men's soccer, and all of a sudden gone. they're gone to GAA, you know. So they're Wexford were buzzed and back up to mid-table in that division. Sean Palin got 2 goals, and look at Sean. Sean has plenty to offer Premier League level still, and he's down in Division 2 now at the minute. He's scoring a few goals, and Sean Allen in the goal for that side, and a couple of players that played in my squad from last season are still back down on it. So look at the boys as to get their act together to be well capable of pushing up there and maybe trying to get into the edge of Division 1 at the start of it.
And some of them players you'd expect them to be up near the top of it, all right. And then another Wexford Town team, Wexford Celtic, having a tough year into losing out 4-2 to Adamstown, who seems to be back on the boil now, in fairness to them.
Yeah, well, Adamstown are a tough old nut to crack. It's Adamstown seemed to flourish at the end of the GAA season. There have a lot of the old Raheen players from a decent Raheen side come in there. There were a lot of good young lads in that. Now they're kind of in their mid-20s, but they're good soccer players now, in fairness to them. And look at Adamstown, will go well again. And
surprise result was Tom Brack being held by 𝘰𝘯𝘶. 𝘰𝘯𝘶 are having a tough season as well in the bottom 3. Tom Brack, who've been flying in the top 2 or 3 all season. It'll be a disappointing result for them with 1-1 draw, trying to get back up.
Yeah, but look at when your home games draw your way, and it's not the end of the world.
It's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Move on to Betxs Division 3. There won't be too many games in these lower divisions now. The Junior Shield that was on, but we had Tymon losing out 2-1 to Leonard's. We kind of talk about Leonard's a good bit on this show. Nicky thinks they're in the right division. I don't think they are. Their results some weeks are good and some not. I think that's a Tymon who had been going well, so that's a good win for him.
Yeah.
How do you think yourself? Do you think they're down too far for a...
It's disappointing, really. Like, you know, it's when I came into management, my first year was 2017, I think, and Leonard's and ourselves were kind of up around the top for Division 1. We beat them, say, in around January time, and that was it. Bags folded, we're out of here. And they concentrated on Neil O'Sullivan. They got to the final of that year, but like they're so temperamental down there. Like, for the facilities they have a lovely pitch down there. They've a new Astra after coming in there now. Yeah. Down in Division 3, look at, you have to ask questions. But again, you look at the 𝘵𝑠𝑡ℎ football team. You look at the St. Leonard's first team in soccer, and sure, there's what you have it. You know what I mean? It's a pity for the club down there because they've lovely facilities, in fairness.
And they're a great club. I disappoint myself to see them down so low because they are a great club with some great players over the years, in fairness to them.
Yeah.
And big surprise, 𝘮𝘰𝘮, fairness to Neil Gary and Steve McCormick. The last couple of weeks now seem to have 𝘮𝘮 back on track. Maybe all the GA players are back playing with them now as well. It was a great win again. 𝘰𝘯𝘮, who are on the top. I think they went top of this table last week, or second from top anyway. But it's a disappointing result for 𝘰𝘯𝘮, but great win for 𝘮𝘮.
Yeah. Tough pitch to go to. 𝘮𝘮 is a tough little pitch down there, very tight, and you're always going to get a battle down there.
Yeah, and we have move on to TJ Murphy's Division 3A. We've Enniscorthy United losing out 5-2 to Bunclody. We have a great goal to show on that there in a few minutes. Kilhealy losing out to 𝘰𝘯𝘮𝘳 second team 3-0. Cushenstown losing out 2-1 to Feather Rangers. John Turbett of Wexford football fame back on the score sheet again for them. And in the big game in this division, we tipped it as one of the top 3 games last weekend. Myself and Nicky. Rosstown coming out fairly easy winners, 5-2 away to Blackwater. Rosstown, another big club over the years, and some fabulous on it. I think if you looked at actually went through the underage league tables there last week, all the top divisions in it, Rosstown are nearly top of them all, in fairness to them. So it's good going with Ross Sedley beside them down there. There seem to be the club that the young lads go to play in Ross at the moment.
All the way through from Mini World Cup up along, Rosstown are always in and around there. My lads playing under 13s and 14s a minute. Rosstown are nearly top of both divisions. They're always fighting in and around, but Joseph's and Barntown in and around there. And then you go up along and then the players just seem to disappear. Yeah,
and they don't seem to... I could be wrong on this, but don't seem to go over to Ross Sedley either, so maybe they're...
Well, they used to go to Ross Sedley, but at the moment, for the last couple of years, I haven't been going to Ross Sedley because Ross Sedley haven't been doing so well. I don't know what's really happening at the moment, but then I suppose any of the really good players have always tipped up the road into Waterford and played with the likes of Ferrybank.
And they have that options as well.
They have that option for 10 minutes up the road, and there's a few that are tipping down the other side of the road at the moment as well, so it's unfortunate, really.
No, look like they're going to win that division. That'll only help them keep the young lads and encourage young lads to keep playing. Now we're going to look at that free kick that was on from Claudia. Paul Dunn, again, Enniscorthy United. Or Paul Nolan, sorry. An absolute cracker.
That's a belter,
you wouldn't place it there, would you?
That's a belter, all right.
Again, we want to thank everyone for the footage loads and keep them coming into us. Now we've the Kennedy Craft Butchers Division 4, Gorey Rangers again, club flying at the moment. Their C team going well in this division as well, 5-0 win again. Ross Birkin, Cumolin, losing out away to our home to Crossbeg 3-2. Maybe with Crossbeg having no first team, maybe there was a 1 or 2 on it. And the Ballock drawn 2-2 with Cairn and Ferns, who are leading this table. 4-0 win again, Coraclaw United. Nothing really surprising there, Doddser, is there?
No, there's a trend shown there, isn't there? Like, you know, that Gorey B team, I didn't really say a whole ton about it when we mentioned them in Division 1, but I seen some of the lads tugged out up in North End at the league game last year when they were going to play them, and some of the lads they have in their B team, which is obviously forcing some decent players down into their third team. Look at that result, doesn't surprise me a bit. And you look into the next one, you've Crossbeg, they're A-team players. Maybe some of the lads are pushing down to play in that division as well. And then you look at the last result and you have Ferns down there as well. And it all stems from, if you can get up into the Premier and you can get your B team up a bit higher, these lower divisions is where some of your good players are going to be playing. And that's...
Yeah, no, it's a strong Ferns B team in fairness.
You look at Coraclaw, we just mentioned him a minute ago, and look at the defeat that their B team got, you know what I mean? So,
and the shout out to the Ballock and Cairn, there are 2 A-team divisions in that division, in fairness, keeping soccer going in them areas.
Yeah, there's a couple of decent town lads playing up in the Ballock at the minute. I don't know how they ended up there, but they did.
Fair play to them.
Yeah.
And then we've the Butchers Best Division 4A. Joseph's a 3-0 win home to Campoyle. Our Celtics B team flying 3-2 home to KM United. And then Scar United C team a 2-2 draw again. Bridge Rovers again, nothing really surprising there.
No, not again. Like, you look at the teams that won in that division, it's B teams on the back of decent A teams, and that trend follows down along the whole way down along. You know,
it's going well in the club. It just follows through right down on it. Then we've the Streamline Technologies Division 5, the biggest division in the league. We've the Derby, big Derby in this one was 2-2 with Tom Brack's B team and Fern C team. Newer B team losing out to Core Ramblers B team 2-1. Wexford Celtics B team with a big win again. Bree United 6-2. All Blacks losing out 6-1 to Fastnet. Gorey Celtic winning their Derby 3-1. Cumolin, we have another cracker of a goal coming up shortly from that game. And the team I tipped that Nicky keeps giving me a gruel every week about got back to winning ways this week. Castle Dockrell with a 3-0 win against Adamstown.
Yeah, Castle Dockrell. And then that goes and throws my trend out the window because All Blacks went and lost that division. Wexford Celtic went and won that division after losing in another division, and Cork Ramblers. So
yeah, I don't know, because it's great to see such a big division ended. I think there was. I think at the start, I remember talking about it, I think there was 2 others maybe pulled out. He was going to split it into 2 groups of 7 at first and see how it went. Would have been an interesting way to go to league.
Look, I was one of the players on the first ever Division 5 set up in Wexford Bows, and like we thought Ash will only be here for a year or 2, but just because it showed the popularity of soccer in Wexford that 20 years later, nearly since we won that first Division 5, that is still going
and going strong.
We still have that amount of divisions in Wexford and getting bigger, if anything.
And now we have probably the goal of the week from Gavin Goodwin in that Gorey Celtic game. This is a cracker, Doddser. Seen the keeper off his line and a beautiful lob.
Nice finish.
Yeah. And just goes shows the quality as well with some of the players in this division that are capable of this. That's not an easy skill.
Time, Aidan.
I don't know about that now. So look, that's all the results, and we again just want to thank everyone for all the goals and keep sending them in. I suppose before we go on to some of the big fixtures of the weekend, we're going to be double jobbing later on now. Doddser going down to Ferrycock Park to commentate on the Oscar Trainer game. If they need a draw to get a home tie, I think it's not just a home tie. I think you're going to be vying the Leinster Senior League too. I think if the other group goes on trend the way it's going, so they'll definitely need to be looking on to get back, wanting to make sure to get the home draw, and then the final is in Ferrycock Park now.
Yeah, well, the Carlow needing a result down here tonight is a tricky enough one for Ken, how to judge what team he pulls out. Like, he'd like to be giving some of your lads who hasn't really got too many minutes under their belts a chance to get into the team, maybe a chance to just get familiar with some of the players around them, because I don't think they're training a whole ton apart from their games on a Sunday and then into their next Oscar Trainer week. So
yeah, look,
it would be a chance, but then do you take that risk of maybe not finishing top of the group or whatever? But look, I went out to see him playing against Kildare, and they were head and shoulders above Kildare. And I had a chat with Willie Perry the other day, and we were just talking about how easy it is to basically fit lads into different systems if you're managing that team. You have so much experience and so much ability at your hand. And so I suppose it's trying to keep them happy and trying to keep them in the team is probably your biggest job.
I suppose the biggest thing you'll probably have tonight with Gorey playing Friday night in the Leinster. I think they're playing Friday night in the Leinster Senior Cup. Will the Gorey will let him play? Will the players want to play? It's hard to know, is it?
That's hard to know. That's something for the management to deal with. And look at he changed his team after the first week. Did a decent win up in Kilkenny. He changed his team around again. He upset a couple of people. Didn't upset a few others. So some people were happy with it. Some people weren't. And they went out and they beat Kildare 4-0. And look at, as I say, I'd expect Wexford to go very, very far in this competition, if not the whole way, because like some of the players they have are fabulous players. You know what I mean? It's
I fully agree with that. So that pressure's on Ken to bring home an All-Ireland title, Doddser says.
Yeah.
Now we're just going to look at the fixtures for the Premier this week as we are under pressure for time. It'll be a big game in the Mine again this week. Again, North End. This game, plain and simple, the Mine have to win it. Definitely can't lose it anyway, but they have to win it, I think, if they want to stay up there with the two of them.
Look at it. It's a game that you can see a pattern out. North End go up, score from set piece, close up shop. Will that happen? Is that the thing? Mine's job is to make sure that it doesn't happen. Mine can't afford to think that they're title contenders if they lose 3 times before Christmas. Yeah. They've already lost to Fort Celtic. They've lost to Gorey, and if they lose North End this Sunday, I'd say it's curtains for them. It's trying to best of the rest for them for the rest of the season and try and go well in the Wexford Cup. Again, similar to the result of North End, Gorey went up there and picked up their 3 points last week. North End don't want to go up there and get 1 or even less than 1 this week. They want to keep on the tails. Yeah,
they'll want to bounce back and they'll want to keep ahead of Gorey if they don't pick up the 3 points.
Looking at the table today, mine are still top and North End don't like looking at anybody else top bar themselves. So
no, and if North End don't win on Sunday, it's in Gorey's hands.
Yeah.
You know, North End always love having it in their hands, in fairness to them.
Exactly, yeah.
I suppose the big thing, we're hearing rumours of a lot of injuries. I believe it's Sunday when I go up there and see all these injuries that I'm hearing about. So can you tell us anything about that, you being from Wexford Town?
No, I was away the weekend, so I haven't heard a whole ton. I've heard more about people coming in than I have about people going out. So it's, you know yourself.
You going to tell us?
No. I don't know whether it's true, so best not, huh?
Move on to the next game then. Fort Celtic and Crossbeg, big game for both. Look, I leave this one to you because myself and Nicky talked about this last week and then I got called off, so it's on this week. So I leave you to talk about this one.
Look at Crossbeg are tough nuts to crack. They can be hit and miss, but look at generally they're good fighters. Fort Celtic, I'd have said, look at Fort Celtic are going to come up, finish 3rd or 4th like they did last season, but they're good. But then they've put in a few shocking performances this year. Fort Celtic are a confidence buzz crowd. They're similar to the Martins in the hurling. They could be anything, and then let themselves down on occasion. They let themselves down a couple of weeks ago against Shamrock Rovers. Yeah. They'll bounce back. They went along in the FEI, then they won up in Kilkenny. Look at they'll bounce back again. I'd fancy Fort Celtic to win this game, but they have to learn that nothing is going to be given to you on any given week in Wexford. They have to just go and dig it out every single week, not just 10 weeks of the season or 12 weeks of the season. I expect to be there about because you won't be.
Yeah, I Crossbeg will. They always have as I said last week, they always have a good record again for Celtic, so they'll be expecting to win it. Just on Ford, I kind of agree with you there. Yet I didn't tip them at the start of the year to do. Tip them to go mid-table. Then I kind of changed my mind with the start they had. So I think the players, they need to believe more that they can actually win anything. I always find when you're over teams, if the players have to believe they can win it, or you're not going to win anything.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, and a big one for your own club, Wexford Bows and Ajax. Ajax, we're looking to get 3 points here to pull Bows into a relegation battle. I don't see it myself, but I think Bows could win this one comfortably enough on Sunday.
I hope you're right. It's a
bit of pressure on him now, but
there is a bit of pressure on him because nobody likes to look at that and 0 points beside your name. Now, and I know they've only played 3 games, but like I firmly expect Bows to win this game, and they've a much more settled side the last few weeks. PJ's back in the team. He's kind of dictating a bit of the play. Dermy's dictating, Todd scoring goals, you know what I mean? And that's kind of enough to get you over if the rest of them join into the party, do you know what I mean? Tiernan is back as centre back from last week, which is good to see. They're a bit shaky at set pieces. Look, it's a huge week for Bows. I don't want to be going on about players individually because it's a team effort, and it has to be a huge team effort for the next week or two, because if we get 6 points from the 2 league games that I hear we're having, I think we've a midweek league game the following week after that. And then you're going into Christmas, the table's looking a lot rosier for you.
I just think his name some of the players are like the PJ, Todd, Dermy. Just think that them three alone have too much quality for Ajax. Like
to do, but you have to get the points on the board as well. Do you know what I mean? I've seen teams get into trouble with some very good players in the thing. One big thing, it's a real standout for me when you go to a Bulls game is to have to sign a player or two soon. To have to bring in a 17, 18-year-old with a bit of class because their bench at the moment.
They're hard to come by.
They are hard to come by. They are hard to come by, and the League of Ireland is a big carrot to a lot of these lads. But Wexford Bulls bench is not showing a whole ton at the moment, and I just think that he needs to add a little bit more to the squad just to stabilise their position as a decent mid to high table team in the Premier.
And the other team on the bottom with Ajax Campile have a tough away game to Shamrocks. I think Shamrocks just bet them comfortably enough for the first game of the season, I think. So you'd be expecting Shamrocks to bounce back this week with a win at home.
You would be expecting it, but again, Campile
they'll fight. In fairness,
Campile will fight.
Brad will have them well set up.
He will, and in fairness to Brad, it's hard to be a manager. I was a manager there when you were losing more games than what you were winning or even drawing, and he's sticking by him. He has faith in them young lads. He puts them out there. He's adding in a few. Even like Johnny is back after a couple of years out. He's back and he's scoring goals, and you know them lads, they just don't give up. Do you know what I mean? So look, if Rovers can get an early lead in it, I expect Rovers to win the game. But I wouldn't surprise me if Campbell come out with a point either. Yeah,
and bit of a derby then in the last game. Ferns, who I tipped to do well, have struggled of late again. Bunclody, who had been struggling there and then had a great win at the weekend, they'll be bouncing after that. In fairness, it'll be a tough one for Ferns, I think.
Bunclody will be bouncing, but you take a striker of 𝘰𝘠𝘬𝘕's ability out of any team, and you'll see the result in a couple of weeks' time where you lie in that table. It's as simple as that. So they need to find a striker and they need to find one fast. And they've had a couple of suspensions as well along the lines.
Kieran Murphy's been suspended, I think.
Kieran Murphy is notorious, was suspended. But look at
cracking player though. He could get the goals in fairness.
Cracking player, but look at his temperament. Has let the club down last season and has let it down again this season. And he needs to stand up and fill 𝘰𝘠𝘬𝘕's boots if Ferns want to go up where they were last season. And if not, things could turn there again. It's one of those ones. I don't want to be harping on about GAA too much on the football show. But if Ferns start going back and concentrating on GAA, the boys go missing. Yeah. Ferns could find themselves down lower than what they want to be.
So just run back down to them quickly then and give me who you think will win. A mine or then I'll go for. I'll be brave this week. I'll go for a mine win on this one just because they have to.
I'm going to go for a Nordown dig out 1-0 win.
I'll go a draw on across the big for Celtic.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 for Celtic win.
Yes. I'll go Wexford Bulls comfortable against Ajax.
Comfortable as in?
3-0 but comfortable in the game.
I take 1-0.
And Shamrocks will win it, but it might be tough. I think Campile will come out fighting in this one.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw on this.
And I'll go Ferns maybe by 2 maybe in this one. I think they'll have to bounce back.
2-1 to Ferns. I'll stick with what fight I seen in them last year. I don't think they'll lose it all within a couple of months. So I think they'll come back and win 2-1 in this.
All right, thanks for that, Doddser. Thanks for coming in. And just again, everyone, as Doddser alluded to early, rather than looking at the results on the app, go out and look at the games. Some great games again this weekend. And thank everyone again for the footage. And if you have it, send it in to us and we'll use it. Best of luck to everyone.